The first story I'm going to tell is Dog and Wolf. A long time ago, Dog and Wolf were very, very good friends. They would travel together, they would eat together, they would sit and talk, they would always visit each other. They were very good friends. But one winter it turned very, very cold, and poor Dog and Wolf were sitting in the woods shivering and hungry. Wolf said, "I wish I knew where we could get some fire, or else we're going to freeze to death." Little Dog said, "If we don't find some food, we're going to starve to death." Wolf said, "I wish I knew where we could find fire and food." And Little Dog said, "You know what? I think I know where I can find some." Wolf said, "You do? Where?" And Little Dog said, "Don't worry about it. You wait right here and I'll be right back." And Little Dog took off towards the human village where people live. And when he got close to the village, he sniffed the air. And he smelled smoke, and where there is smoke, there is fire. He knew he was getting to the right place. He went to the front of one of the houses and he sniffed again. And he smelled food cooking over a fire. He was in the right place. So Little Dog went to the front of that house and he peeked his head in the front door. And sure enough, in that house was a fire. And over the fire there were racks of meat cooking. And sitting by the fire was a little girl. She was tending the fire, taking care of it, making sure that the heat was even and the fire didn't go out. Well, that little girl saw that Little Dog, and she said, "Oh, Little Dog, come in, come in." Little Dog liked the sound of her voice, so he came closer. She said, "No, Little Dog, over here by me." Little Dog liked the sound of her voice, so he came next to her, and when he got close, he was warm now because he was by the fire. She said, "Oh, Little Dog, you look so hungry. Here, let me give you some food." And she reached in a basket next to her and took out some cooked deer meat and gave it to him. And he ate it up, and it was so good. His little tail started to wag. She said, "Oh, Little Dog, you still look hungry. Here, have some more." She took out some more deer meat and gave it to him, and he ate it up, and it was so good. Then she started to pet him very gently on the back. She said, "Oh, Little Dog, you're so nice. You're so smart. You're so cute. Why don't you stay here with me, Little Dog?" He liked the feeling of being petted, so his little tail wagged even more. She kept talking. "Oh, Little Dog, stay here with me. You'll never be cold because you can sleep by the fire every night. You'll never be hungry because I'll feed you every day. Oh, Little Dog, stay here with me." Little Dog liked the sound of that, so he lay down and he went to sleep. Now where was his friend Wolf? Still sitting out in the woods, still hungry and cold. Wolf waited one day. "I wonder where that Little Dog is." He waited 2 days. He said he'd be right back. He waited 3 days. "Oh, I'm so cold and hungry." And then on the 4th day, Wolf said, "You know what? I don't think that Little Dog remembers me anymore. I don't think he's thinking about me. I'm really angry at him. The next time I see him, I'm going to chase him out of the woods." And that is all. Now, if you look at stories and you look at the meaning of the story, it teaches you things. Not things so much for your brain, that kind of learning. That's why you go to school, for reading, writing, and arithmetic. It teaches you something in your heart about how humans are supposed to behave, how they're supposed to live, how the world operates. And so this story, if we look at it as a teaching for young children, is trying to get across the idea of keeping your word especially with your friends, because in the end, Wolf is not happy with Dog. It also teaches us why wolves live in the woods and dogs live with people. It also teaches us something else about the way native people approach life, how people are supposed to live together. Because that little girl saw that little dog peeking his head in the door, and she could have picked up a rock and thrown it at the little dog and said, "Shoo, go away, little dog." But she didn't. She said, "Come in, little dog, come in." She was welcoming a stranger into her house. And this is a native teaching. Welcome everyone, including strangers, into your house. And then to make him feel even more a guest, she fed him food. And so that is a teaching of the native people. Welcome people into your house and feed them. Make them feel as though they're welcome guests, because someday you will be a stranger in someone's house. And if you're treated this way, the world is a better place.